1943. Europe was entirely under Hitler's grip. But an even bigger, more terrifying race was underway. The race to build the atomic bomb. If the Nazis succeeded first, the war would end instantly, and the world would enter a new, dark age. The task of stopping this race fell to just 11 men. Their mission was considered nothing short of suicide. This is the story of Operation Gunnerside. This is the story of 11 Norwegian commandos who parachuted into the icy, inaccessible mountains to destroy the world's most critical secret target, the Vemork heavy water plant in Norway. This was the only place fueling Hitler's nuclear project. Heavy water, or deuterium oxide, is crucial for initiating a nuclear chain reaction. The Vemork hydroelectric plant was the only major producer of heavy water in Europe, and it was now completely under Nazi control. The Nazis had fortified the plant into an impregnable fortress. It was situated on the edge of a narrow gorge, surrounded by deep, snowy ravines and thousands of German troops. If this plant continued operating, Hitler would have a nuclear weapon within 18 months. Destroying it was the only option, but a conventional air raid was impossible. Therefore, the responsibility fell to the men who knew this land. Elite soldiers of the Norwegian resistance. Operation Gunnerside involved only 11 men. They had to parachute into the mountains at an altitude of 4,000 feet in sub-zero temperatures. Their landing zone was wrong. They survived for weeks in freezing conditions, hidden from German patrols, living only by hunting wild reindeer. This struggle for survival was their first victory. When they finally reached the area above the Vemork plant, they found the main suspension bridge heavily guarded. Their only path was down through the 300-meter deep gorge. The commandos used ropes to descend the perilous, slippery cliffs near the icy waterfall. Then, hiding from Nazi sentries, they crossed the half-frozen river and climbed the steep cliff face to enter the plant's compound. The commandos slipped into the plant's complex and moved towards the main heavy water production room. Their moment of success depended on their precision and silence. They quietly set explosives with timers. The explosion occurred, but it was much smaller than anticipated. Nevertheless, it was decisive. The commandos successfully destroyed the critical heavy water containers. They deliberately took no lives, ensuring the attack would be seen as sabotage, not a military assault. Now came the hardest part: the escape. The German army was pursuing them with full force. The commandos decided to split into two teams. 6 commandos embarked on a 200-mile ski journey to escape to Sweden, while the rest remained hidden in Norway. They intentionally left behind a single broken submachine gun to suggest the attack was carried out by the Norwegian resistance, not British commandos. Operation Gunnerside was a massive success. The Nazi nuclear project was pushed back by months. Later, the U.S. military launched an air raid on the plant, but by this time, the Germans were transporting the remaining heavy water by train. The Norwegian resistance carried out a final desperate action, bombing the train while it was on a ferry across a deep Norwegian fjord, ensuring the heavy water sank forever. This operation was one of those few decisive moments where a handful of men, risking everything, changed the course of history. If Hitler had succeeded in building the atomic bomb first, we would be living in a different world today. The success of this mission ensured that Wernher von Braun and his Nazi colleagues did not get the chance to build the atomic bomb. Later, these same scientists were incorporated into America's space program, a story we explored in detail in Operation Paperclip. This is the story of a secret war across the Atlantic and the unsung heroes whose selfless courage saved the world from nuclear terror.